Hello everyone and welcome to another Digimon Dreamers translation and review video. So this is chapter 12 of Digimon Dreamers, which comes in the October issue of Saikyo Jump. Now, I did the strongest jump, yes, pun intended, when this arrived because I just wanted to talk about it so badly. So this is the quickest I've gotten around to translating it. So I read it straight away and immediately knew that I wanted to talk about this to literally everyone for a bunch of reasons and a bunch of things that we learn. So this is the first page, and straight away off the bat we have Ritsu in the V-Tamer Taichi cloak. And a bunch of baby Digimon, as well as, of course, Potamon and Bergamon and Patamon and Bokomon and Agumon, and also, interestingly, Ogumon and Koemon, who are friends now, I guess, so that's cool. So, bunch of cute art just at the start, and yes, we're going on an adventure, as it says here. And the chapter name is Wisemon of the Memory Beach. So... oh no, not beach, ocean. Memory ocean. It's Kai, not Umi. I'm wearing my glasses so I can actually read, so that's exciting too. So we are here at the Memory Ocean, and it says that there is a wizard standing on the beach. So this is Umi, Kai. Umi, Kai. You can see where I'd make that mistake, can't you? So Kai is like ocean, Umi is beach. So we're at the beach. Stepping on the beach. So here we have Wisemon kind of thinking to himself, and he's thinking about how while he's staring at the ocean, at the water, he's trying to remember, and he's got these thoughts of his past self that he's having. And then it says how he's wondering where Digimon go and where they come from, and how the sound of the waves can turn Digimon into poets. So I'm not sure this is a haiku. I tried to count it. It didn't seem to have the right mora count for it to be a haiku, but I'm not super good with haikus anyway, so I could be wrong there. Or maybe there's a different type of Japanese poetry that I'm not familiar with, which is also possible. And then we have Ritsu and Pulsemon appearing, and Wisemon reacting. Also something to note about the skull, and this is what I noticed when I was reading it, is that the skull has the same emotions as whatever Wisemon has. So here it is just normal. And then we have him do the big eyes too. So he asks them where they come from, and then Pulsemon just says, "Oh, Wisemon." Then Pulsemon says that he saw him from the cliff, so he jumped down to come see him. And Ritsu's yelling at Pulsemon, saying, "Hey, you need to think about your partner, pal." And then Wisemon's like, What are y'all doing?" And then Pulsemon says that he is Ritsu and pal. And he explains about how the village that they're from has the curse where they're not able to evolve. And they were hoping to get some hints and some guidance from a magic user and finding out how to get to Witchenly. And then Wisemon's like, "Witchenly?" And he's got this puzzled face. It's just the skull. And then he's like, yes, it's another world where there's the magic users. It's a magic users world. And then Wisemon's like, "Oh, magic?" And then and they're like, "Are you Wisemon?" And then he's saying how he looks like a wizard, except instead of a magician's staff, or a staff, a magic wand or a staff, he is holding a fishing pole. And then he's like, no, it is true that I'm Wizardmon. However, this Witchelny place, he's not sure if he's heard of it. And then he's like, wait, maybe, and he's sort of getting a memory. Then he thinks of Witchenly, or at least some castles, And then, interestingly, we have 2 new Digimon to be confirmed from Witchelny, I guess, which is Candlemon and Phascomon. Previously, we knew Wisemon and Witchmon and a bunch of other Digimon were from Witchelny, but now I guess we've added Phascomon and Candlemon to the list of Digimon from Witchelny. And then he's like, And then he thinks of this Digimon, which I'm assuming is Phalesmon. So Phalesmon, I guess, may be also confirmed to be from Witchelny. And he's like, And I'm like, what's wrong? And he's saying, my head hurts. Actually, did they say, what's wrong? Do you have a headache? And he's like, my head. So I guess he's got a migraine from trying to remember Witchelny. And then his head explodes into sunflowers. And they're like, what? What was that? I guess he's a magician. And he's like, sorry about that. He's like, actually, I have amnesia. Whenever I try to remember something and have a memory, I just get a headache. And then Ritsu says how Espimon told him to find Wisemon, who was at the Memory Ocean, and he would be able to tell them about Witchenly. So he's like, therefore, come on, please, you have to tell us how to get to Witchenly. Please teach us how to get to Witchenly. And Wisemon's like, teaching you how to go? And then it's like, yes, please. And he's like, teaching? You want knowledge? And then knowledge. And then we get an image of Phalesmon again. And now that sets Wisemon off. He's like, you're a knowledge thief! And he's like, what? And then he gets Pulsemon with his fishing rod. I'm like, what? Wisemon, calm down. Wait a second. Please, talk to us. And he's like, I'm not listening to you. You are an enemy. And then Pulsemon's kind of escaping, and he's yelling, oh, you're not scared? You're not scared of this strength? That's Wisemon saying that, by the way. And then he's like, this memory is painful. It's painful. And he's in pain and he's suffering. And then he has another head explosion, which basically that feels like what a migraine feels like, to be honest, as a migraine sufferer. And he's like, that's no good. I couldn't remember. And then he groans in pain, and his head explodes into doves. And then he's like, oh, what funny magic. And then he's like, I wonder if inside of here if I enter here, if I can go to find the memory to get to Witchenly. And he's like, up. And Wisemon's like, no, don't go in there. That's horrifying. And then Pulsemon's inside his head. And then he's like, illusion! And he's like, don't play! So then he loses his temper, which is understandable. He was just in his head after all. And he's saying that, he's got some courage to be teasing him, because basically that's what Pulsemon's doing. He's teasing him, and he gets stepped on. Poor Pulsemon. And then Ritsu continues to plead with Wisemon, says, you've got to teach us how to get to Witchenly. And Wisemon's like, you say it still? And it's kind of like he's just had there's this atmosphere of this disaster that's surrounding Wisemon there. And now we have Pulsemon having the power of Bulkmon from inside him, and he's able to do his partial evolution or localized evolution. And Wisemon's like, what? And so is the skull. He's also going, what? And he's kind of confused about how this happened. And then we have Bulkmon's head attacking. And then afterwards he's like, surely it was you that was the one who was doing the illusions. because I guess that's how else do you explain that? And he's saying, okay, I have lost to you, it's unfortunate. And then he explains he still is unable to have those memories, and he still has no recollection of his past self, and that's why he just kind of fishes to try to get these memories back naturally and with just relaxing. And then they're like, oh, Wisemon. And then Wisemon is feeling some great power, and he's like, what? And then we have Dagomon, who kind of looks like he has a clown nose. I don't know why. So Dagomon's this great power that Wisemon says he was just feeling. And then Ritsu understandably freaks out because that's horrifying to see. And then he's like, an enemy has appeared. Thanks, Wisemon. And then it says Tako, which means octopus. So I guess that's fair. That's a fair assessment to explain when you see this giant monster. And it's a pretty cool shot too. You can really see how big Dagomon is, so that's very cool. So yes, while I was wrong, we didn't get to go to Witchenly as I originally kind of predicted we would. We might next chapter, but I can imagine we are fighting Dagomon next chapter. So yeah, it's super exciting stuff. Even though we didn't get to go to Witchenly, we do possibly have 2 or 3 confirmed Witchenly originating Digimon, so that's pretty cool. It's always nice to add to the list of Digimon that originate in Witchenly, so Candlemon, Phascomon, and maybe also Phalesmon, or at very least Phalesmon has something to do with the fact that Wisemon's in the digital world, or at the very, very least, the reason why he doesn't have memories. So that's pretty cool. Would love to know more about that. It's always nice to get some lore. It's honestly surprising that so much lore is coming from basically a comedy manga. Like, we've got how Chimeramon can exist outside of the 02 universe, and how they're that they've got scientists working on that, being Professor Vadamon and Espimon, like they're kind of looking at that. So that's kind of cool. We've got that lore there. And then we've got the Witchenly lore. So it's really great that we've got so much lore coming from this comedy manga. And again, at the start, it is also nice to see a bit of a throwback to V-Tamer, and now I've completely lost the place. I think it's around here, because I know it's after the bum detective. Have I completely lost it? Oh, no, I think I found it. There we are. So it is nice to have that quick, like, little Easter egg to V-Tamer where he's wearing the cloak. And it's a similar cloak to the other human that we found earlier in the series wearing that sort of cape. So that's pretty cool. I do like that. Same artist as V-Tamer, so it makes sense to have some references there. But yeah, super duper surprised and super duper happy to see how Digimon Dreamers is going. But now just because I got through this so quickly, I'm so excited for the next month's chapter. I'm just loving this so much. But yes, so let me know your thoughts about this chapter or any of the other chapters for Digimon Dreamers in the comments below. Like this video because I really need to know whether or not people are enjoying these translations, or if I should just be off enjoying them quietly on my own. Whether or not I should continue this series of translations or not, let me know in the comments, and like and everything. And don't forget to watch the other chapters if you haven't seen how the story has gotten to this point so far. And of course, subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks for joining me, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!